The word actor brings to mind stardom, seduction, fame, and fortune. Also, living on pennies, dreams, and on other people's couches. The craft is a mindset, one that can change the way you see yourself and the world around you. There's no better way to discover yourself than to first try on somebody else. It isn't Hollywood. It's not Broadway. This is Riddlesbrood. So welcome to the Acting Out podcast. And now your host, Clyde P. Riddlesbrood.
Hello, 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 and thank you for tuning in to today's Acting Out podcast. I am Clyde P. Riddlesbrood, and I have a fabulous guest today. A man that, well, you've probably never heard of, but if you had, you would be extremely excited. His name is Kevin Ebner, and he is a fabulous actor that's been with us for quite some time, and I'd like to introduce him with a fanfare. Kevin, thank you so much.
No, thank you for having me. It's a real good pleasure to being here with you today.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you here. And you know what? Before we get into everything so much, of course, anybody listening to this podcast know that we talk about theater and improvisation and touring entertainment and all that kind of thing and how it works in life, especially that work-life balance. So one of the things I thought you would be great to teach some people out there that might be listening is how being involved in comedy theater and improv theater, you know, you don't have to be a starving actor with no job living in your dad's basement. You can have a regular career and just do this for fun on the side. So before I get too much into that, why don't you tell a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, no, I've been doing theater for over 10 years now, and every year that I've done it, I've always had a full-time job, usually in the blue-collar realm. When it comes to theater, it's always just a great outlet to kind of let off some steam in a very healthy and creative outlet. Working with theater companies down in Cape May, now working with Riddlesbrood itself, it's just been an absolute joy to have that, to kind of get that escapism outside of the usual grind of having a full-time job.
And when was it that you first got involved back at the Lanes back in the day?
It was around 2016. I joined halfway through the summer with their summer show. And from there, it just kind of took off for the next 2-3 years. I worked with them, working a full-time job at a amusement park down in Wildwood. I would literally go to work, get done work, go right over to the rehearsal, and get the show prepped and ready to go for whatever season we were in.
Oh, that's cool. I'm just curious, though, like, if you're going back in time there and you're, you know, just a regular guy working a regular 9-to-5 kind of job down there, what was it that made you say, you know what, I'm going to go over to that little theater and I'm going to check it out. Let me see if I can get in a show. Like, what was it that motivated you to want to get involved in that kind of thing?
Well, I'd done theater in high school, but it was for 1 year. But the biggest draw was having the connections there with somebody I used to work with at the same amusement park. They were a very fun, outgoing person. I met up with them one night. I said, that's somebody I want to work with, and I always kind of had a creative edge to myself, and I just walked up and asked if he had any openings, and the rest is kind of history after that. I
mean, because a lot of people might feel like, you know, they watch TV shows or watch comedians, you know, or something like that, and they might say, you know what, I think I could probably do that. That looks like a lot of fun. But they never actually take the first step to actually say, you know what, I'm going to actually look for a place where I could actually do this. So what do you think it was about you or your personality or your interests that would have led you to say, you know what, I'm not just going to sit here and think about it. I'm actually going to do it.
Well, I think kind of everybody has that edge to them before they start doing anything like theater, you know, getting in front of crowds, acting out, learning lines, all that fun stuff. But for me personally, I've always kind of been an outgoing person, just trying to make everybody laugh. And it always helps when you have somebody like Terry O'Brien as your connection to get you in. And like I said, he was always a pleasure to work with at our job. And then heard nothing but great things about his directing abilities. When he ran the one amusement up there that involved acting, I always kind of got a feel for it. We did a haunted attraction a couple years there. He was always kind of my cheerleader up there, so to speak. I would get stuck in a stationary spot, but he'd always fight to get me out as a roamer. And he just kind of struck me as the type of person who wants to see somebody grow, get better, work at the craft, and just go up there and number one rules, make people laugh, honestly.
Well, you struck on something that I encounter quite a bit. The idea that you're brought into the industry by somebody that you know. You know, generally in the idea of our society in general, People look down on nepotism or look down on, oh, you got in because of your mom or got in because of, a lot of people look down on that. And it's understandable why. That being said, it does seem like in theater, getting involved in the entertainment industry, networking is an extremely important aspect of it, because whether you like it or not, that most of the people that work, in theater or entertainment, whatever it might be, they usually had some kind of personal connection, and that's what got them in. They didn't just put a resume out and a cover letter in an official way. They got in through personal connections. And like it or not, I think that is really important for young actors or people that want to get into the industry to really understand that you really need to get out there and meet people. You're not going to do it with a keyboard. You know what I mean? Now, let me ask you this. Once you got involved in Elaine's back in the day, and I did forget that Terry actually worked at the Maurice Piers, right?
Yeah.
Because he's been a director for our shows and been in a couple shows over the years. You got in through him. Now, once you started, doing the entertainment, doing the shows, doing the comedy, doing the jokes, did it really interfere with your regular 9 to 5?
No, I mean, all it is just kind of spacing out time to be able to learn your script. And honestly, it comes down to how serious you are about acting itself. I mean, it's not something I just rolled into from knowing Terry either. I had to audition. The first role I had like 2 or 3 lines, and then I wore a werewolf mask the rest of the show. So,
what was your first show?
It was Sherlock Holmes and the Werewolf of London.
Oh,
yeah, that was a fun one. So, got to be a Cockney guy, and then from there, I just wore a werewolf mask the rest of the show. So, it is kind of a building block, which I think a lot of people kind of miss when it comes to theater too, is it's a lot of work to try to get to the next tier of your skill, more or less, and to get those better roles. You can't just roll in and expect to be Hamlet in the show.
But, when you're new and you're just looking to get involved, usually most people don't want a big role. They actually just kind of want to get their feet wet a little bit. They want to kind of get a lay of the land, what's going on around here. They look around, they observe what other people do. So it's actually pretty common that somebody gets involved and they might get a smaller part and then go forward to get a bigger one, maybe in the next season or the next show.
Oh, 100%.
Now, what is it that, you've been with us at Riddlesbrood for quite a few years now, and, you still have a regular full-time job. Some of us work doing this, and that's it, but, you don't make a lot of money, but it is a lot of fun. Now, you've been able to balance that work and theater and regular life kind of thing for a while. What is it that you think, if you were a young actor and you were thinking to yourself, you know what, I like it, I like the idea, but I'm not sure if I want to, the scheduling, and it's a pain in the butt. What would you say to them to kind of assuage those fears?
I would say you just have to love what you do. One of the biggest things with Elaine's and with Riddlesbrood, kind of like you said, getting your feet wet and getting a lay of the land kind of feeling. In both companies, it just felt like family with the people I worked with and acted with. Once you have that kind of culture, it kind of builds an opportunity to grow as an individual, as a cast, and all of that. Something to say to a young actor kind of up and coming is, just love what you do. I mean, you have to have a passion for it. It is art, and art has a lot of passion that drives it. I mean, if you don't have that, then why are you doing it, more or less?
Well, you know what? Being involved in entertainment, too, it's different than a regular job. But it's not so structured. It's not so systemic. There's a lot of room for creativity, a lot of room for goofing around. And I'll be honest, I think a lot of the people that are involved with Riddlesbrood, they're involved because they like being part of the gang, and honestly, in this world we live in now, the society is very atomized. Everything's too inconvenient. Everybody lives too far away from each other. Nobody wants to drive anywhere. Everybody just spends all their time online, and, nobody has any real connection. There's no community. Being a part of a little theater group, you have a group, but you have a purpose to be together, too. You're not just getting together to hang out. You're doing a show. You're entertaining a crowd. But that little base gives you the opportunity to actually, hey, we have a little group of people that we could actually hang out with and have a good time with.
Oh, yeah. No, I tell my wife all the time, it's work. Don't get me wrong. It is work, but it's fun work.
Yeah.
It never feels like a chore. Kind of what you just hit on there, and what I was kind of getting at before, too, is once you have a great core base of people that you work with, it's a lot easier to kind of have that passion to keep striving to be better, to keep kind of improving, not just for yourself, but for the company. And the one thing I will say is, in our style of theater itself, kind of like the dinner theater realm, I know Brian Albert and I have talked about it before. It's probably one of the better realms to even start getting your feet wet when it comes to acting. I think it's a very great way to kind of work on your improv skills, and you kind of handle scripts a lot better as well because you were able to kind of bounce off a script and go right back to it and keep the story flowing.
I've noticed that being involved in a touring comical type of group like us has some advantages to a newbie. And the reason what that might be is because they do have to get comfortable with the improv. They have to get comfortable with winging it and shooting from the hip. Whereas, like, say if you were in a dramatic community theater show, everything's about you got to say the line just right, you got to stand just right, you got to be just right, you got to do it everything like the director says, and all that's important in a certain circumstance like that. But with this, you're in a different venue. Every time you do it, you're with different actors. You're having to adjust your chemistry with a lot of different people. So you really have to be on your toes. The good thing about that is you don't need to be super structured in the beginning, but you just kind of get a feel for how everybody else is doing it. And the more you do the shows, and that's one thing about us that's great because a new actor gets a chance to really get a lot of stage time.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
You know, they're not just doing a rehearsal for 8 weeks and then doing one weekend and that's it. You know, they're doing a show maybe once a week, once every other week. That stage time allows them to develop that relationship with an audience, to understand how to feel their energy, push a joke just the right way to get the reaction. So being a part of this as a young actor or a new actor, you really get a great chance to get out there in the real acting world and do it over and over and over again.
Oh, yeah, and then kind of going back to having a full-time job as well. I mean, the theater helps with that as well. It helps improve on your people skills, how you interact with people, just basically kind of what you're hitting on with work on how to land a joke, work the room, kind of read the room and see exactly how everybody's feeling with the show, with the jokes that work, don't work. I think it also plays a lot of crucial roles into your actual everyday to day life as well, because it helps build a stronger people skill than I don't think you realize you need to help with as well sometimes.
That's a good point. You know, I didn't think of that at first. Getting out there in front of an audience and cracking jokes and stuff, how would you feel that might translate to, say, just your personal life or a work environment? Like, how would those skills, how would strengthening those muscles help you in your regular life?
I mean, think about it. If you're at work, just kind of everybody has had a job, obviously. If you haven't, and even just being at home with family members, friends, what have you, being able to read a room and see how any discussion or any business dealings is kind of shifting in different gears and different directions, you're able to kind of pick up on it a lot easier and keep up with the conversation that's happening. So if you struggle with any social skills itself, again, theater is another great way. Obviously, people get stage fright, but you can always just wet your feet, get the feel of the land, you know, take a small role, just be an ensemble that's in the background and just kind of help work on that. And again, going back to the cast that I've worked with between Riddlesbrood and Elaine's, I've always had that great chemistry with both aspects with the cast members and coworkers I had at both places. I mean, it's, again, the one word I always describe it as is it's like having another family.
Well, you know, that's nice to hear. Obviously, that's what we're shooting for. But I do know that some people that might not be involved in entertainment, and I kind of say the word entertainment as opposed to always saying the word theater, because I do think we're very different than just when people think of the word theater, certain ideas come to mind. And some of those ideas don't quite correlate to what we do. And I think some people, when they think of theater, they might have a preconceived concept in their mind of stuffy, it's cliquey, everybody, you know, is judgmental and everybody's kind of annoyed. And if you're new, they're not going to treat you the same. I personally think that we're very different than that.
Oh, 100. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And a new actor, when they get involved, I think that's an important aspect, that they're not going to be judged like you might be at some of those kind of theaters. Instead, you know, there's a lot more of a camaraderie to it. Would you agree? Oh,
yeah. I mean, even touching back, I mean, not even just actors, even doing stage crew, building the sets, getting everything set up. The one great thing, again, between Elaine's and Riddlesbrood is I also get to use my trade skill set to help get shows ready, building sets. I built the set for one of the shows at Elaine's.
Really?
I know I've helped you on multiple things.
Definitely.
Brian Albert, his show, I helped him build that set alongside you as well.
So, yeah.
It's kind of another aspect I think people don't also realize, too, is you don't just have to be on the stage. You could also be a key member backstage, moving things along and make sure the story is keeping on pace and what tale you're telling as well.
We've definitely had some of the parents of some of the kids involved in the community theater side. They've been backstage helpers or helping us swinging a hammer every once in a while or a screw gun, and that's certainly helpful. And that's one of the things where even if you're just looking to be around a good group of folks, but you don't really want to get out there on stage, you can still be part of the family, part of the group by just helping out here and there and being around. So that's really helpful.
Yeah, and even both companies, I've even worked on some jokes with people backstage as well. The putting the show as the improv plays in, you always want to work a joke before you go out with it. So not even just fellow cast members, you can always also rely on the other people that are part of the theater family that we have and just kind of bounce ideas off them as well, because they're an audience member themselves sometimes. Well, I know a lot of people, to move on to the next topic, is I know a lot of people that are in the rat race every single day. The biggest problem is scheduling, right? And availability. And I like to always mention that availability with us is pretty easy to work with, because most of the shows that we do are usually on a Friday and Saturday night. So if you have a regular 9-to-5 job, you're definitely going to be able to do like 90% or being involved in 90% of the stuff. Don't necessarily worry if you feel like it might be difficult, because it might not be as much as you think it is. And also, because we're a touring theater, our shows can be all over, anywhere, New Jersey, PA, New York, Delaware, Maryland, all over, sometimes even farther. And a lot of times the company manager will pick a show that's close to you. They're not going to pick one that's super far. They're going to try to pick one that's close to you. Obviously, the more available you are, the more shows you'll probably get. But if you're just looking to get your foot in the door and have a little bit of fun, then it's certainly open and easy to get in. Oh, yeah. I mean, working out the schedule is obviously a huge aspect of it. This year was particularly challenging for me. I got a new job where the schedule was changing quite a bit on me. So, I mean, when it comes to scheduling, I mean, again, it just goes back to how passionate you are about it. The number one thing I would say is try to get a fixed schedule or an idea of what your schedule is, and work with Riddlesbrood, work with the manager to try to pick the dates that you can do. I know for me in particular, the one show I always want to do, because I've been doing it since 2016, so it'll be 10 years now I've been doing it, is A Christmas Carol every year. So that main stage show is something that's always kind of a staple and more or less a tradition for me to do at this point even. And I just love the story. And again, both companies I've done it with, it's just been absolutely astonishing to get to grow the characters I played in that show and work with the people I have worked with, and it just makes the tradition feel even more special. But when it comes to scheduling, just kind of get your foot grounded on what you can and can't do, more or less. And again, if you're passionate about acting and pursuing it, then you'll make that schedule work, and you will find shows that you can do. The reason why I particularly thought that you'd be great for this particular topic is because you haven't just had a regular job and then did this on the weekends, and it was as simple as that. You've had times where you've had, some long time 9-to-5 jobs where your hours were different, or you got really busy. So there's been times where you might have done a show once a month, and then all of a sudden you're like, you know what, I'm really busy for this season. I can't do anything for like a couple months. And then you say, you know what, my schedule's opening back up again. I can definitely do the Halloween season for you guys. And all of a sudden you'd go from no shows to doing a show every week. And then back down to, I'm back in my busy season again, so I got to take a step back. And I consider that a really nice flexibility that we have as an entertainment company to allow people to really kind of moderate and adjust their availability, and we can do the same, to kind of compensate for what they might be doing in their regular job. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you're very accommodating towards that. I mean, with the different tier system in Riddlesbrood alone, and it allows you to kind of give you that flexibility of saying, I can take these shows, I can be this available, and you're always welcoming back with open arms to whoever is trying to flex that schedule around. I mean, there was that one year where I didn't have a full-time job at all. And then you were all over the place. You were all the shows. Yeah. And we miss those days. I know. That was actually kind of the biggest culture shock when I got the full-time job, is like, because I honestly miss you guys when I'm not doing shows. That's how much I love doing this. And again, it's doing it with the right people, honestly. That's the biggest thing for me in particular. Well, I don't want to take too much credit either, because Kate, our company manager, she's the one who does a lot of the moving stuff around. I just kind of sit in the back, but she does a good job of managing and bouncing all that stuff. No, Kate's amazing with that. I mean, she'll reach out, and there's a show that needs to get booked. She'll reach out to you, and she'll say, I'm going to reach out to other people. If you can't do it, or if you can, if you're thinking on the fence, just let me know. And she'll work around that, and she'll get the shows casted, but she'll try to get you in shows as much as she can as well, too, just keep you involved and have you around as well, because, again, everybody gets along so well in Riddlesbrood. It's kind of an amazing thing to have when it comes to theater. I mean, because like you were saying earlier, you're thinking theater and you think stuffiness and this, that, and everything. I always say the theater kids. Right. Riddlesbrood does not feel like that at all. Everybody kind of has each other's backs and wants to see each other grow and want to help that grow. And I think, again, when it comes to theater, if you're an up-and-coming actor or a young actor, that's honestly one of the best things to look for. That's why I was referencing like the kind of dinner theater style. That's not what we do. I mean, we're traveling theater, but there's still kind of that.
It's pretty much dinner theater.
It's a culture around it.
Yeah, it's the same kind of concept, really.
Which I would tell people, like, I wouldn't just think about acting school. I would look at something like this as something to use as an outlet or a foot in the door when it comes to acting, because it's stuff you can put on your resume. And again, it's the improv aspect, the generic scripts.
You're going to learn a lot more, I think, by being involved in show after show after show and being around different performers than you are going to be in some kind of class.
Yeah.
And honestly, I've never been a big fan of classes. I've taken mine back in the day, but I've always seen a lot of these classes, and we're going to do your resume, is really kind of a transactional kind of money extraction thing. I mean, really, they're just trying to make money off of you. Again, do I want to throw dirt on every little group that does classes? No, there's a place for that. But I can't tell you how many times we would have somebody come in and, I got my master's degree in theater and I've taken 15 classes and I spent $1,500 on my headshots. And it's like, yeah, but that guy over there that's just a waiter is like way better than you.
Yeah. And
right? So, I mean, this is where it's just like, just simple objective truth. It's like, listen, just get out there and work, and you're going to learn 1,000 things more than taking all these structured courses.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, I've taken theater in college myself, and the one thing, if I was going to give a young actor any type of advice, would be look for the instructor that's going to let you kind of build your own acting ability.
Yeah.
Not just you have to follow this specific style or this is how I would do it. Like when it comes to that, it kind of, I think it pigeonholes you into just kind of being a generic actor at that point. Whereas doing what we do is you're actually building a lot stronger of a skill set than what's available in that realm, I would say.
Not only that, but networking. Like I know so many people that have involved in Riddlesbrood and they do, shows with us part-time, but then they might work with another group. They might work a pirate group, or like, there might be Santa Claus every Christmas. They do other little part-time entertainment things too. And a lot of times they got that by interacting with the other actors. Like, hey, I'm doing this part-time gig too at this festival. We need some extra people. You want to be involved?
Yeah.
So when you're involved in the shows and you're actually living it and doing it, you're going to be around people that are actually living it and doing it too. Whereas if you're in just some kind of course, you're hanging out with people who are in your same boat too, people that don't have a gig, don't have a network, aren't plugged in. So if you're looking at it from a networking perspective, being involved, doing shows, hanging around these people are going to get you other gigs outside of Riddlesbrood.
Oh, 100%. I mean, that's it. Networking is number one how I found you guys, because I gets provided the stage for a show that I was doing in Cape May with Terry O'Brien.
That's right.
The other thing I'd say too is if anybody's looking to get into acting, to get into film, I mean, geez, people ask me to be in independent films and feature-length films from seeing me at a Lanes.
Right, yeah.
So you never know who's in the audience. It doesn't matter your credentials in terms of a piece of paper you get. I mean, if you have something that people want and like when it comes to acting and your skill set, they're going to see it if they're in the crowd. And if they like it, they're going to ask you.
Now, what if somebody might be saying to themselves, oh, that's all great. That sounds wonderful. I'm down with that, Kevin. But one of the things that I'm afraid of is a conflict. Like, for instance, like, I got my regular job, and all of a sudden, I'm getting involved in the show, and everybody likes me, and we're getting to be friends, and all that. And then all of a sudden, a show pops up, and it's a conflict with my 9 to 5. They might say, "Well, I can't afford to get involved in that. I can't involve." How does that play out? How would you dissuade them from saying that that's a real obstacle?
I mean, honestly, it comes down to the individual. What your priority is at the time. I have my wife, house to pay for. Not my wife to pay for. Maybe not in that order. I have my wife. I have a house to pay for. And, we're trying to grow a family together. So, I mean, it just comes down to your priorities in life at that point. If it's a show that's come up that you really want to do, what I would do in that situation is I would try to get it planned out, get the schedule set up so that it will be accommodating, that I'm able to do that show learn my lines, make the rehearsals, everything like that. So, I mean, it all comes down to just having that ability to be flexible with your schedule and to kind of structure it to where you can actually pursue what you were trying to do.
But have you found that as a company, we're pretty flexible too? Like, for instance, like obviously there's going to be times where, oh, we need you to do overnight shift tonight and you can't miss a rehearsal or something like that. We really do our best to try to be flexible around that. Like, we're not going to like throw shade on anybody. You know, if you have to miss a rehearsal, you have to miss a rehearsal.
I mean, that was this past Christmas season for me.
Yeah.
With this new job.
Happens.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are extremely accommodating with that. I mean, it's just a matter of also being responsible and accountable for it too. I mean, don't just say it the day of. And
Right.
But like kind of give a heads up and just let it be known, like what your schedule entails and what's happening in your life at that point. But with that being said, don't take advantage of it either. I mean, you have to be at rehearsal to not just for yourself, it's also for the cast, because you have to build the chemistry in order for the scenes to be strong. But no, I mean, Riddlesbrood, again, between picking shows, being able to do shows, it's all very flexible, and you're very understanding. So, I mean, it helps out a lot in terms of this type of structured theater.
Now, what about your bosses, right? Like if you're working a regular 9 to 5, have you found that most of the time if you say like, hey, listen, man, I got this show. It's like coming like 6 months ahead. It's on this one weekend. Is there any way, I just want to let you know that we don't have any conflict with that way out in the future. Have you found pretty responsive employers for that? Or do you feel like they're always a pain in the butt? Or do you think because it's entertainment, you kind of get a pass on that a little bit? Or what do you think?
I've had accommodating bosses with it to an extent. There is kind of a lackluster, like, yeah, I'll let you have it. But this past year, I'll have to think about it for Sunday of Christmas Carol. And I was like, oh, geez. Like, just give me the day off. But I mean, more or less, again, it just comes down to your responsibility as an individual to have it planned out and scheduled.
Yeah.
And it depends on the employer. It's up to you and what you want to pursue. For me, again, Christmas Carol is a tradition. It's something I love doing. I will do anything to make it work so I can make it. I think that particular Sunday, I even said I'll come in after the show. It was like 4 p.m. and I was originally scheduled to work 4 p.m. to 6 in the morning or something like that.
Early.
Yeah, and then make my other shift at 6 a.m. to work pretty much a 24-hour shift. That it ended up my boss being very accommodating about it. He understood. He was very helpful and everything. I mean, again, just comes down to how you set it up for yourself. And
we never want to ever put anybody in a position where they're getting in trouble. So, I mean, and honestly, most people's job, if it's like a 9 to 5 job, really doesn't have a problem. Mostly it's people that might be like a waiter or waitress or have a night job that's on a weekend. They usually just don't work out because obviously most of our shows are weekend night shows. So, I want to caveat that. But if you're like doing shift work during the day or you're just working in an office all day, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be fine. And you're never going to have any of these issues. So in that regard, I noticed it's usually pretty easy.
Yeah, I mean, even the job I had before this one, it was another 9 to 5. We were doing a steady show up at Peddler's Village, and I was in that entire season that we did it there. It was like 2 or 3 months we were doing that show.
Yeah, it was
there.
a long season, yeah.
So, I mean, I was able to accommodate that with the weekends. So, I mean, again, just plan ahead and schedule. If it's something you're very passionate about and want to do, just seek out what works for you. When it comes to scheduling, if you have a 9 to 5, just plan ahead, more or less. That's the key element of what I would say that works for me.
There's one other thing, too, that I thought would be great about you that might be illuminating to somebody that's looking to get into it, is that I know there was a period of time for like a year or so where you actually were almost like self-employed. You had your own painting company and you were going off and doing different gigs of painting different houses. And the reason why I bring that up is because there might be a lot of self-employed people that might have their own little company. And because they're in charge, they have a lot of control over their schedule. It seemed like at the time it was really easy for you to work both in because you didn't have a problem because you were self-employed.
Oh, yeah. You have a lot more carte blanche to actually accommodate the shows you can do. So, I mean, it does help. I mean, if you're somebody that's passionate about acting and run your own business, by all means, I mean, try it out.
And it can be a great source of extra income.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of them. I mean, we just did payroll for at the end of the year. And, there's people that were making like 10, 15 grand a year just doing part-time theater work all year.
No, I mean, it was a big boost for when I was running my own paint company. I mean, it's not like the jobs were pouring in with the paint.
Right. But I know you were busy a couple times with some of that stuff.
Oh, yeah. It just depends on what job I was doing at the time.
Yeah. Well, you know what? This was a lot of fun and a lot of, very kind of instructive for some new actors. So if you're out there and you're listening to this and you're like, boy, that sounds like a lot of fun. I'd love to get out there and tell jokes and be, having a good time with some people like that. Don't be afraid. Go to our website, riddlesbrood.com, and I'll spell that RIDDLES, B as in boy, ROOD.com. Check out our audition page. We do 2 big auditions a year, one in March, which is coming up, and also one in September for the Christmas season. And, we're always looking for new, energetic people that want to, take a bite out of the comedy lifestyle. And we would definitely encourage you to come on out and try your luck, and we'd love to have you. Other than that, do you have any last words that you'd like to put out there, Kev?
No, I just say, if you're looking to get into theater, you want to dip your feet in, there's no better opportunity in Riddlesbrood. Honestly, this structure of a theater is the perfect way to get in and get your foot wet, especially with a great group of people that want to see you grow. That's the biggest thing when it comes to theater is you want growth. You don't want to be stagnant. You don't want to work with people that are not going to be there to help you or just out for themselves, but that's not at all the case with Riddlesbrood. Everybody wants to help each other, and they want to make each other funnier. They want to make each other stronger actors, and they want to work together. Like I said, family.
I couldn't say it better, Kev. Thank you so much for coming on today. It's been a real big help, and for you, thanks for tuning in today. And we always have one new podcast coming out once a month, so we hope you tune into the next one too. So thank you so much. Clyde P. Riddlesbrood signing off.